Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss about enzyme inhibition. So let's get into this video. So first of all, we would discuss what is enzyme inhibition. So enzyme inhibition is the decrease in the enzymatic process or the catalytic process which is being catalyzed by the enzyme, or it may be decreasing the enzyme production or the enzyme related processes. The enzyme inhibition can be reversible or irreversible. If we say that the enzymatic inhibition is reversible, then it means that the inhibitor can easily dissociate from the enzyme, and this dissociation is only possible when there is non-covalent binding between the enzyme and the inhibitor. And there are three major types of reversible inhibition. We are going to discuss all those three in a minute. So next type is irreversible enzymatic inhibition. Here the binding between the inhibitor and the enzyme is covalent. So it is very strong binding, due to which the functional group of the active site of the enzyme gets destroyed, because of which the inhibitor cannot dissociate from the enzyme. So it is irreversible, and most of the toxic inhibitors come under this category. For example, penicillin, which is produced by Penicillium fungi. Now, the types of reversible enzymatic inhibition includes competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition, and uncompetitive inhibition. So let's first discuss about competitive inhibition. So as the name suggests, here the inhibitor competes with the substrate to bind to the same active site. So here the inhibitor has to resemble the substrate very closely. Then only both the substrate and the inhibitor can compete to bind to a single site, that is active site. So here the reversibility is very high, as the inhibitor can easily dissociate from the active site of the enzyme if the substrate concentration is increased. So it can be reversed by increasing the substrate concentration, and whenever the inhibitor binds to the enzyme, there is production of enzyme inhibitor complex, that is also known as EI. So an example of competitive inhibition includes the usage of Relenza, which is neuraminidase inhibitor, and it is used in the treatment of influenza. So here you can see that the competitive inhibitor binds to the enzyme. It can only bind to the enzyme and produce the enzyme inhibitor complex. It cannot bind to the enzyme substrate complex or the enzyme product complex. So you have to remember that competitive inhibitors only bind to the enzyme, not to the enzyme substrate complex. So here you can see that whenever there is competitive inhibitor in the medium, then there would be higher Km value. There would be change in the Km value while the Vmax remains the same. So this graph, this above graph is showing the chemical reaction without the presence of competitive inhibitor, while the lower graph is showing the competitive inhibition by a particular inhibitor. So here you can see that both these curves are attaining a maximum velocity, same maximum velocity. So here Vmax remains the same, but the Km value increases. So you have to remember that in competitive inhibition, the Vmax remains the same while the Km increases. It can also be studied using Lineweaver Burke plot. Here you can see that this graph is the normal graph where the inhibitor is not added, while this line, red line, is showing the presence of competitive inhibitor. So here you can also see that the Vmax is same. Vmax is coming here. It is same for both the cases, but the Km value is different. The Km value of the chemical reaction where the competitive inhibitor was added is much higher than the Km value of normal reaction. Now the next type is non-competitive inhibition. Here the inhibitor binds to the site other than the active site. So you have to remember that there is no competition between the inhibitor and the substrate here, as the substrate is binding to the active site while the inhibitor is binding to a different site present on the enzyme surface. So whenever the inhibitor binds to that particular area of the enzyme, there is alteration in the 3D structure of the enzyme that in turn blocks the reaction. So that alteration in the 3D structure of the enzyme is causing the inhibition of the chemical reaction. And here the inhibition cannot be reversed because the binding site of the substrate and the inhibitor are completely different. So there is no reversibility here. Next, an example of non-competitive inhibition includes the usage of cyanide. So cyanide works as a non-competitive inhibitor or as a poison that prevents the electron transport through the electron transport chain in the aerobic respiration. So it is basically preventing the aerobic respiration. Now there are two types of non-competitive inhibitors. One is pure, second type is mixed. So in pure non-competitive inhibition, the substrate and the inhibitor binds at different sites on the enzymes, and the binding of inhibitor is not affecting the binding of the substrate at all. The inhibitor binds to either the free enzyme or the enzyme substrate complex. We are going to discuss that reaction also. While in mixed non-competitive inhibition, what happens is that the binding of the inhibitor with the enzyme influences the binding of the substrate. So substrate binding is being influenced by the binding of the inhibitor. This is the main difference between pure and mixed non-competitive inhibitions. So this is the reaction. Here you can see that the inhibitor can bind to the enzyme to form enzyme inhibitor complex, but it can also bind to the enzyme substrate complex. So whenever the inhibitor, non-competitive inhibitor, binds to the enzyme substrate complex, there is production of enzyme substrate inhibitor complex. So the main difference between competitive and non-competitive inhibitor lies in this reaction only. You have studied that in competitive inhibition, the inhibitor only binds to the enzyme, while in non-competitive inhibition, the inhibitor can bind either to the enzyme or the enzyme substrate complex. So here in this graph, it can be seen that the velocity of a reaction where inhibitor is not used is shown by this curve, while the reaction in which the inhibitor is used, non-competitive inhibitor is used, is this line. So here you can see that there is a difference in the Vmax value of both the reactions, but the Km value is same for both these reactions. So it can be understood by this graph that the Km value remains the same in the non-competitive inhibition while the Vmax changes. This is the Vmax of the reaction where the inhibitor was used, while this is the Vmax where the chemical reaction was not using any inhibitor. Now it can also be studied by Lineweaver-Burke plot. So it can be seen here that this graph is the normal graph of a chemical reaction without inhibitor, while this is the straight line which we obtain after adding the non-competitive inhibitor. So here in both these graphs, it can be seen that the Km value is same. Here is the Km value. It is same for both the reactions, but the Vmax value is different. One Vmax is here while the other is here. So it can be seen that the Vmax value is lower in the case of addition of non-competitive inhibitor. So I think it is clear to all of you. Next is uncompetitive inhibition. This is the last type of inhibition that we are going to study today. So it can be seen that the uncompetitive inhibitors can only bind to the enzyme substrate complex. They cannot bind to enzyme alone. They need the presence of enzyme substrate to bind. Next thing is both the Vmax and the Km values decreases in this case. Next, if we talk about the example of uncompetitive inhibition, then the inhibition of NMDA, that is N-methyl D-aspartate glutamate receptors in the brain, their inhibition is being controlled by uncompetitive inhibitors only. So as we have earlier discussed, the inhibitor cannot bind to the enzyme alone. It can only bind to the enzyme substrate complex and form enzyme substrate inhibitor complex. Now this is the graph where you can see that the chemical reaction without the inhibitor is showing this curve, while the chemical reaction where the inhibitor is used is showing this curve. So it can be seen that the Vmax value of both the reactions are different. The Vmax value, that is Vmax dash, is showing the Vmax value of the uncompetitive inhibition. The Vmax dash is showing the maximum velocity of the chemical reaction where the uncompetitive inhibitor is added. So it can be seen that the Vmax value has decreased. Similarly, here you can see that Km dash value is of the chemical reaction where inhibitor was used, and it is decreased from the initial Km value where the inhibitor was not used. Now it can also be studied by Lineweaver-Burke plot. So here this black straight line is showing the chemical reaction without inhibitor, and red line is showing the chemical reaction with the inhibitor. So it can be seen that the Vmax values of both these reactions are different. The Vmax value of the chemical reaction with uncompetitive inhibitor is far less than the Vmax value of the chemical reaction without the inhibitor, and similarly the Km value is also lower in the case of the chemical reaction where uncompetitive inhibitor was used. So what is the main difference between all these types of inhibition? So you can see that in the case of competitive inhibition, the Vmax value does not change. It remains the same while the Km value increases. Similarly, in pure competitive inhibition, the Vmax value decreases, but the Km value does not change. In the case of mixed competitive inhibition, the Vmax value and the Km value, both these value changes. So it depends on the type of inhibitor. In the case of mixed competitive inhibition, whether the Vmax value and the Km value is going to increase or decrease. So therefore I have written it changes in both the cases. In the case of uncompetitive inhibition, the Vmax value decreases and the Km value also decreases. So this is the main difference between all types of inhibition. It is very important for NET point of view. So you have to remember all the differences between all these types of inhibitions in detail. So this is it for today's video. In the coming video, we would be discussing about regulatory enzymes or the allosteric enzymes mainly. So if in the meantime, if you find this video helpful, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. It will motivate me to make more such videos, and that's all. Stay tuned. Goodbye.